Hello, my sisters. This is Brandy, and this is my video bio for being Champion of the Week with Fight Club for Women. Namaste, my sisters. Such an honor to be honored by such amazing women, to be chosen to speak to all of you about my story and about my walk. I chose to do a video bio because this is how everyone in Fight Club for Women met me. A friend of mine that I grew up with added me into Fight Club for Women right around a little after they started, and we sat back and I observed for about a minute and a half, and I was like, yes! And head on, Brandy jumped into the ocean of Fight Club for Women, and so began the journey. When I look back on it now, what an amazing synchronization, universal synchronization and blessings. To cross paths with such amazing women and to come at a time in my life that I so needed this on so many levels. So, lots of you know that I walked a path of domestic violence, that I lost a lot, that I absolutely lost everything that I owned, that I literally lost all of my teeth, that I gave a son up for adoption, that I really have gone through all DV shelters and transitional living, and I have had money, and I have been broke, and I have been dark, and I have been light, and the whole spectrum of this walk. I was literally hauling with me, after I fell, a rock bottom fall. I literally was trying to climb out of this hell cell of my own making, as I like to call it, and I was doing this with my 3 children and about 16 semis of crap that I kept trying to pull with me from my past. I was an artist, and I love to create. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing to bring beauty into the world, and to see someone connect with that, and to see someone light up inside, and to know that whole moment is just, it's beautiful. But I ended up going back to school after I got myself to a certain point of together, and I got a pretty good job, and I got a nice place to live, and I went to school back to school full time, and because of who I was, and because of where I'd been, and because of the walk that I had, and what I did know about myself, I really wanted to do something to give back to humanity, and I wanted to use my gifts, and I knew that I had gifts. And I wanted to expand upon them. So I went back, and I chose to go back for transformational psychology, spiritual studies, got into Reiki, energy work. I got into shamanism, and I worked with this awesome little old shaman. He was amazing. And then I was doing like aromatherapy, and I was looking at herbalism and how to apply herbs to my life and everyone else's life, and use them for medicine and use them for food. And then I was looking at the wholeness of everything. I hadn't just been through domestic physical violence. I had been through the emotional and psychological part, and I had, so I knew that the mind affected the body as the body affected the mind, and I knew that we can make ourselves ill, and I knew that there was so much more to everything. And as I said, I was still carrying all this stuff, so I kept picking up the lens of the past, and I kept looking at myself, and I had all these self-image issues, and it wasn't just because of him, because it started before him. And so a lot of my life, I just didn't know who I was like I did. I knew parts of myself, but I had allowed myself to get very, very far from who I was authentically. And sometimes I say that, I used to say all the time that I got lost, and if I did, it's the awesomest thing I think I ever did for myself. But sometimes I just think that I was just like, no, this is it. Like, there is more to this. There is more to me. There has got to be more. And I want to find it. And I want to be it. And I want to live it. And I want to shine. I want to be glitter. I just want to be glitter. So, I was on this journey, and then I lost my job. So externally, even though I was doing this really hard work in here, externally things still weren't adding up. And I was still really, really just hitting a wall, and I had a lot of barriers. I had really bad anxiety, I had PTSD, and I started making these videos, and this is how everyone at Fight Club for Women met me. And so I called it the peel of the onion. First, I talked a lot about where I'd been and my path and all the pain and suffering and trauma, and then that just wasn't working. I had done that in the DV shelters and just it wasn't working. I don't want to talk about what was. I wanted something different. So I started peeling off these layers because, I had picked up so many. I fell apart, I picked up my pieces. I fell apart, I picked up my pieces. And every time I rose, I kept getting heavier, literally in the universal sense, because I wasn't letting all of these things go. And during DV, you just don't have time to heal, and you don't have time to process, and you certainly don't get to release. You don't have a voice, so I had a lot going on. So I started peeling the onion, and as these layers came off, I was cleaning out my basement and my closets and my attics, and I was throwing it all out, and I said, this is it. I'm looking at it, and it's going to look exactly as it is, for what it is, and I'm not going to put a spin on it. It's not going to be about my ego. It's not going to be, just coloring it pretty. It is what it is. So I got on here, and I was real, and I was raw, and you have saw me at my lightest and my darkest, my best and my worst. And I have shed many tears on here, and I don't regret not 1 second. It was one of the most amazing things that I have ever done for myself, is get real and to do it with my sisters and to really be embraced by such amazing, amazing sisters, amazing souls, amazing pieces of the goddess, and just to feel so supported and so loved at my darkest moment for being exactly who I was. So the more layers that came off, the better it was. And the more layers that came off, the better it was. The lighter I got, the better I felt. And things externally still weren't looking the way they were supposed to. And I was just getting impatient because I just believed that everything should. What's the external always been telling us? Instant gratification? Well, I learned a lot of patience because there were lessons that I had to go back and learn. And, the kids and I have traveled quite a road, and it has been quite a journey. And I have amazing children. Amazing. And they are so much a part of this process, too. And so during my DB, I had given a son up for adoption, and during this whole process, a few years before all this started, his adoptive mother and I got together, and we reconnected, and we really started to build this relationship. And it's such a beautiful relationship. I'm so thankful for her. He's in my life, and I'm in his life, and his siblings and him, they are together. So I had traveled across the United States years ago, and I was in this desert doing this light and dark fighting, and my life was falling apart, and during all this, I was still being blessed. And I really do believe that I was out there battling for my soul. And so when the moment came, because things do have a time and when they happen, I came back across the United States, and I came back to the Midwest where I started. And so began a new journey. And since I've been here, I have to tell you that the inner peace that fills me is amazing. I'm very much a whole and not a bunch of pieces. I have so many blessings, and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for it all, for my darkest days and for my brightest days, for everything in between. I started in April to go back for my master's in transformational psychology. I get to do art, and I get to create whatever it is that I want, however it is that I want. I get to do healing here, and I get to help people. People contact me, and I'm just always so tickled, and I'm so excited. It's such a soulful thing for me to do, to give back, to assist, to help, to serve. Between doing art and the healing and the life coaching, it's amazing. And I live in this beautiful forest, and my son, who I gave up for adoption, has 2 beautiful sisters, and they are also adopted, and so there's 6 of them now instead of 3, and instead of 4, we add 2 more. His mother's fighting her own battle She has stage 4 metastasized breast cancer. Can't say that word. And so I get to help her, and I get to support her, and I get to be here with her. And it's the glory of the ride to know where I was to where I am. I have gone through so many different versions of me, and they all run like a river through me. And I am this woman today because I fought my own battle through my own stuff, and I have my own truth, and I am aware of who I am, the wholeness of my being. And every time I get on for Fight Club for Women and I get to share some glittery, sparkly piece, I just am so amazed at the response. And if I get on there and I share news about our lives, how it's improving, and how the positive love and thoughts and amazingness that surrounds us, it's amazing all the time. So thank you. Thank you all for letting me share. And thank you for letting me be a part of Fight Club for Women. This epic, amazing journey with all of you has brought me so much healing. And I have been allowed to grow so much and get so far in such a short amount of time because of the beauty that lies here and the love. So, much love and much light to all of you. Peace from Brandy.